The scent of copper lingered in the air of the dorm room, sharp and metallic. Lucas lowered his book, his brow furrowed. Is that blood? Did someone get hurt? Mark sniffed the air, his expression turning concerned. They both scanned each other, finding no visible injuries, before their gazes landed on the closed curtains of the opposite bunk. Ethan, Lucas called out. You okay in there? The curtains rustled. Ethan emerged, one headphone still dangling from his ear, his face a mask of practiced indifference. He clarified it wasn't him, his voice a low, sleep-roughened rasp. He mentioned he was on the phone with his girlfriend and needed quiet. The lie slipped out, smooth and familiar, before he pulled the curtain shut again. A chorus of good-natured teasing followed from the other two. Ethan was the first in their suite to have a girlfriend, or so they believed. He rolled over in his narrow bed, the familiar, cramping ache blooming deep in his abdomen. The charade was exhausting. There was no girlfriend. There was only the secret, a heavy, shameful stone lodged beneath his ribs. He was intersex. Outwardly, he presented as any other young man at this prestigious East Coast university. But biology had written a more complicated story. The monthly cycle was a brutal, private reminder of his difference. The girlfriend was a necessary fiction, a cover that allowed him to purchase supplies without raising eyebrows. It allowed him to maintain distance, to cultivate an aloof, untouchable persona that kept probing questions and casual touch at bay. To sell the lie, he sometimes muttered lines from articles about relationship dynamics into a dead phone line. I like you. Of course I do. His voice would drop to that convincing, intimate register. Just hold on until the weekend. We'll see each other then. He'd even press a kiss against the cold screen before ending the non-existent call. It was a performance that earned him both envy and jokes from Lucas and Mark. But his attention always drifted to the fourth occupant of the room, Alexander Reed. He occupied the bunk across from Ethan. A legacy admit from old New England money, rumored to be the heir to a hospitality empire. Academic perfection, effortlessly athletic, with a face that seemed carved from marble. He moved through the world with a quiet, self-assured grace that drew eyes and admirers, all of whom he politely, coldly dismissed. During the ribbing about Ethan's fictitious romance, Alexander was always silent. He never joined in. Ethan used to wonder if it was simple arrogance, a belief that such mundane discussions were beneath him. Now, curled around the pain in his gut, Ethan didn't have the energy to care. The mattress dipped. Ethan's eyes flew open. Alexander was there, perched on the edge of his bed, having climbed the ladder with silent ease. The proximity was immediate and overwhelming. Alexander's warmth radiated through the thin blanket. He braced a hand on either side of Ethan's pillow, his knees framing Ethan's legs, creating a cage of heat and presence. A cool palm settled on Ethan's damp forehead. Alexander's gaze was intent, searching. He asked if Ethan was in pain, his voice a low murmur that seemed to vibrate in the small space between them. He offered to drive him to the campus clinic. Panic, sharp and sour, shot through Ethan. He refused, insisting on over-the-counter painkillers. This closeness was dangerous. The scent of detergent on Alexander's shirt, the faint, clean smell of his skin. It was all too much. He needed him to leave. Alexander seemed to relent, beginning to pull back. Then he paused. He mentioned, almost idly, that he caught a trace of that coppery scent again. Was Ethan sure he wasn't hurt? His hand moved toward the edge of the comforter. Blind instinct took over. Ethan seized Alexander's wrist and bit down hard. Alexander hissed, recoiling. He stared at the imprint of teeth on his skin, then back at Ethan's wide, terrified eyes. A quiet apology fell from his lips before he descended the ladder, leaving Ethan alone with a pounding heart and a crushing wave of guilt. Later, in the en-suite bathroom, Ethan tried to reclaim some composure. The steam from the shower soothed his nerves. He was cleaning the evidence from his underwear when a knock came at the door. Mark's voice asked if he could pop in for his shampoo. The plastic basin clattered loudly to the tile floor. Before Ethan could stammer a response, he heard Alexander's calm, authoritative voice intercepting in the common room, explaining that Ethan, being from a quieter part of the country, valued privacy during his showers. Mark's apology was muffled through the door. The save was so seamless it left Ethan trembling. Afterward, on the small balcony hanging their laundry, he saw Alexander absently rubbing the red mark on his hand with his thumb. The guilt twisted deeper. That night, under the veil of darkness and the soft rhythm of his roommate's breathing, Ethan scrolled through his hidden gallery. Photos of Alexander, stolen moments. Focused in the library, laughing on the quad, silhouetted against the sunset. His secret wasn't singular. His body was one truth, his orientation another. He'd admired Alexander since their rival high school days, always one rank below him on every standardized test leaderboard. Getting into the same university felt like fate. To hide his attraction, he'd framed everything as competition. Who would suspect the bitter rival of harboring a desperate, secret crush? A soft, involuntary sound escaped him. Across the room, Alexander's curtain shifted. Ethan froze, breath held, until the rustling stopped. He fled to the bathroom, splashing cold water on his face, drowning in self-loathing. A freak like him dreaming about someone like Alexander. It was pathetic. The weekend arrived, and with it, the need to maintain the facade. He told the group chat he was staying out overnight, hinting at a romantic rendezvous. The predictable jokes followed. Lucas promised to cover for him during dorm checks. A private message from Alexander popped up. It stated bluntly that he wouldn't provide an alibi. It advised against such a serious step with a girlfriend at this stage in life. The paternalistic tone sparked a rebellious fire in Ethan. He told Alexander to mind his own business and confirmed with Lucas. Alexander didn't reply. Ethan holed up in a mid-tier hotel downtown, a place chosen for its anonymity. The knock at the door around 8 p.m. sent his heart into his throat. Alexander stood in the hallway, his expression unreadable. He explained, without fanfare, that the hotel was part of his family's portfolio. His eyes flickered past Ethan into the room as he held up a small paper bag, saying he'd brought condoms, just in case Ethan had forgotten. Heat flooded Ethan's face. Alexander's voice grew even quieter as he asked where the girlfriend was. She was running late, Ethan stammered, the lie thin and transparent. Alexander's jaw tightened. He took a step forward, closing the distance, his question a low murmur against Ethan's ear. Did Ethan even know what to do? Would he like a lesson? Ethan stumbled back, the fiction crumbling. He confessed she wasn't coming. A strange vulnerability then softened Alexander's features. He asked if Ethan could keep him company, admitting he was having a difficult night. That's how they ended up on the floor, sharing a bottle of bourbon from the minibar. Ethan asked what was wrong. Alexander's eyes never left him. He spoke of someone he liked who constantly avoided him. Someone brilliant, beautiful, and frustratingly distant. The confession was a physical blow. Ethan took a long swallow, the liquor burning a path down to his already unsettled stomach. So Alexander did have someone. The fantasy he'd nurtured in the dark felt foolish now. He drank more, the room beginning to tilt. He announced he was going to shower. Alexander moved to help, but Ethan pushed him away, a surge of irrational anger fueling him. In the bathroom, fumbling with his buttons, the truth was inescapable. The evidence of his body's betrayal was there, a stark red stain. A wave of furious disgust washed over him. He scrubbed his skin raw under the scalding water, punishing the flesh that made him a liar, an outsider. His foot slipped on a slick patch of tile. The door swung open before the impact echo had faded. Alexander was there, his concern shifting to stunned comprehension in a fraction of a second. Ethan was exposed, curled on the wet floor, every secret laid bare. Terror closed Ethan's throat. He begged, promises tumbling out between sobs. He'd do anything if Alexander would just keep quiet. But Alexander's eyes held no revulsion, only a deep, unsettling focus. He knelt, his touch gentle as he brushed wet hair from Ethan's forehead. He swore he wouldn't tell a soul. He noted the scrapes on Ethan's inner thighs from the fall and stated he would fetch antiseptic. Wrapped in a hotel bathrobe later, Ethan watched as Alexander carefully dressed the minor wounds. His breath ghosted over the sensitive skin, his gaze occasionally drifting, thoughtful, to the space between Ethan's legs. Ethan flinched each time. Alexander reiterated his promise of silence. That night, they shared the king-sized bed. The weight of the secret, coupled with the alcohol, made Ethan talkative. The words spilled out in a hushed torrent. The fake girlfriend, the exhausting performance, the constant fear of discovery. Alexander was quiet for a long moment. Then he asked, his voice laced with a strange amusement, if Ethan was truly unattached. Of course he was, Ethan insisted. Then Alexander proposed a solution. His acting was terrible, he pointed out. He would pretend to be the girlfriend, a digital phantom to sell the story. Ethan was baffled. But what about the person Alexander liked? Alexander sighed, a soft, exasperated sound, and flicked Ethan's forehead. He admitted that was a lie, born from petty rivalry. He couldn't stand that Ethan had beaten him at something, even dating. The absurdity of it left Ethan speechless. They fell asleep with a new, fragile understanding between them. In the morning, Alexander had not only washed the stained underwear but presented Ethan with a new pair, purchased from the hotel boutique. He made an odd comment about enjoying buying the wrapping for a gift, anticipating the unwrapping. When Ethan asked him to repeat it, he just shook his head and smiled. Back in the dorm, the questions came. Lucas wanted to know where they'd both been. Alexander casually mentioned he'd gone to deliver prophylactics. The resulting joke about Alexander being a worried father figure made Ethan flush and insist nothing had happened. The new charade began that very night. A voice message from Alexander, sent privately to Ethan's phone. "Good night, sweetheart." The words, spoken in that deliberately tender baritone, nearly made Ethan drop his phone. Lucas heard and pounced. Was Alexander seeing someone? Alexander confirmed it with a simple hum. He described his partner as beautiful, sweet, utterly kissable. Ethan pulled his blanket over his head, the words painting a target on his own heart. The following days were a confusing mix of normalcy and tension. Alexander seemed to be spending more time with a senior from the Student Activities Board, a poised woman named Clara. They were co-hosting the upcoming fall gala. Seeing them together, polished and professional under the auditorium lights, sent a sharp pang through Ethan. He raised his phone, aiming the lens at Alexander's sharp profile in his tailored suit. Alexander's head turned. Ethan quickly swiveled the camera to Clara and took a quick, meaningless shot. When he looked back, Alexander's expression was dark. His gaze locked on Ethan with an intensity that felt like a reprimand. Ethan fled the gala early. Later, when the dorm was empty save for the two of them, Alexander confronted him. He demanded Ethan's phone, his tone leaving no room for argument. He wanted the photo of Clara deleted. A cold despair settled in Ethan's bones. So it was true. Alexander's protectiveness over Clara confirmed everything. The rejection, though expected, was a physical ache. He refused, backing away, his vision blurring. Alexander advanced, his patience clearly gone. He stated that if Ethan wouldn't delete it, he would do it himself. The struggle was brief. Alexander was stronger, pinning Ethan against the wall. But a worse horror dawned on Ethan. His hidden gallery, years of stolen moments, would be exposed. He fought with a sudden, desperate strength, shoving Alexander away, his voice breaking as he told him not to touch him. Then Alexander kissed him. It was not gentle. It was acclaiming, a silent argument pressed into his lips. The door clicked locked. Alexander's hands were everywhere, under his shirt, mapping his spine, holding him with a possessiveness that shattered all reasoning. Ethan trembled, asking through gasps what this was, if it was punishment for the photo. Alexander's voice was ice. Yes, he said. For the photo. The admission broke something in Ethan. He accused Alexander of being so infatuated with Clara that he'd go this far. Alexander went still. A low, incredulous laugh escaped him. He cupped Ethan's face, forcing him to meet his gaze. His words were clear, deliberate. It was because he wanted Ethan. Had always wanted him. Did he still not understand? The world stopped. Ethan could only stare, stunned into silence. How could he want him? Didn't he find him disgusting? Alexander's brow furrowed, genuine confusion in his eyes. Why would he ever think that? He spoke against Ethan's skin, his words a warm confession. He'd never been bothered by Ethan's body. He found it compelling. He'd been captivated from the very first moment he saw him. The old memory surfaced. A different boy, a different betrayal, the sting of disgust in a once friendly eye. But Alexander's gaze held none of that. It held heat and awe and a terrifying certainty. Later, as Alexander cleaned up in the bathroom, Ethan moved on autopilot. His phone, the evidence. He had to destroy the proof of his long, obsessive yearning before Alexander found it and realized the full extent of his fixation. His fingers flew across the screen, deleting file after file in a panic. A hand settled on his bare shoulder. Ethan jolted. Alexander stood behind him, having moved with that predator's quiet. He looked at the phone still in Ethan's hand, at the half-deleted gallery of his own image. A slow, triumphant smile spread across his face. He asked what Ethan was doing, his voice dripping with feigned innocence. Ethan stammered, ready to weave another desperate lie, but the game was up. Alexander took the phone, scrolling through the remaining pictures. He didn't look angry. He looked relieved. He admitted he'd thought the secrecy was about another love interest. He pressed a kiss to Ethan's temple and suggested Ethan look at his phone someday. His collection, he murmured, was far more extensive. It was then Ethan understood. All those years of rivalry, of competing for top marks, of stealing glances during lectures. They had both been using their camera rolls to capture not the professor's notes, but each other.